Absolutely beautiful day today. Had a whole bunch of winds a couple of days ago, and really nice to just be home, grounding, settling in. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for joining me wherever you guys are joining me, whether it's on the playback from the recording or whether it's live right now. Really do appreciate it. Still a little bit windy over here in Kona, so I'm gonna try to find a spot that's not so windy. Beautiful view of the ocean. Those of you that are heading out here to Hoonah pretty soon, it's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to have an amazing time. Our workshop is coming up pretty soon. It's our 60th Hoonah Workshop, 30 years here in Kona. Just absolutely amazing to be celebrating that and to be getting to experience all of the individuals that are going to be showing up. People that have been showing up for years, people that have been a part of Halau. Halau means school. And then a lot of new people, 50 people that are going to be here. That's where we cap it. We cap it at level 1 at 50, and we sold out on this one. So really exciting about that. So I want to share with you a story, and it's going to lead into what we're talking about today. I want to share with you a story. When I first did neuro-linguistic programming, the very first time I did it as a kid, I was 11 years old, and I'd done the fire walk with Tony Robbins, and I was 13. And I became a practitioner of NLP. And Richard Bandler, the guy that invented NLP, he was there. And he started talking about a concept called perception is projection. It's a Jungian concept. If you want to read my third book on the shadow, talks a little bit about it in there. On my upcoming book, I also talk a little bit about it. And I use the term perception is interpretation. So perception is projection. Means that the world outside of you is this blank slate. There's nothing going on, and how you interpret it is entirely in your mind. How you interpret the world outside of you is in your mind. And Jung referred to it as perception as projection. It's an important part of personal growth and development. If you're going down a path of wanting to become more empowered, at some point you have to realize that the experiences that you have, all of the experiences that you have, are unique to you. They are unique to you, and what you experience, if I got a different person on the scene, if I had a different individual that was observing the exact same thing, they would have a different way of interpreting it. So it's very empowering as an individual to wake up one day and go, this is my stuff, this is my interpretation. Anyway, the reason why I'm sharing that with you isn't because the topic today is about a perception as projection. It's not. Today's about spiritual bypassing. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Very cool, glad that you're on here. Today's about spiritual bypassing. And so, why did I start off with perception as projection? Well, the answer is really easy. Perception as projection says that what you see is your stuff. And at my practitioner training as a kid, so I'm 13 years old, and I see this person go up to another individual and say, I don't like Sandy just said she likes my Aloha shirt. Imagine if Sandy said, I don't like your Aloha shirt. I know you wouldn't, Sandy, and I know I'm going to see you soon, so I'm using you as an example. I hope this is okay. So imagine Sandy says, I don't like your shirt. And I respond with, well, that's a mean thing to say. Then the other person looked at him and said, perception is projection. And as a kid, I sat there and I went, that doesn't seem right. You say something mean to someone and they call you out on it. And instead of you owning it, you put it back on them. And I said to myself as a 13-year-old, that doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. Now, fast forward, I'm teaching. I'm in my 30s now. This is about a decade ago. I'm sitting there teaching, and this student comes up to me. He wants to work with me as a client, and he says to me, here are all the things that are happening in my life that are absolutely horrible. And he names it, something going wrong in his relationship, something going wrong in his career. And he said, but you know what, man? It's just a part of the path. It's just a part of the path, and what do I have to complain about? I have all my limbs, and I have food on the table. And I said, stop. What are you doing? He said, I'm practicing gratitude. I said, you just told me that things are horrible. Fast forward 10 years later. This is just about 3 or 4 years ago now. I'm coaching this guy. And top 10 Keller Williams agent has a huge team within Keller Williams. And he gets on the phone with me and he said, I haven't had a great week. and I know that you had some things to cover with me. We may need to talk about something else. I'm like, what's going on? He said, well, we had a data breach. It wasn't our fault. It was the company that provides the software, and they're clear it's them. We have insurance for it. The insurance is not wanting to pay out. They're finding a way to blame it on us. And my father has somehow got involved in this. And he's like, and I'm just, I don't know, man. I got two beautiful kids, and yeah, but I'm successful in my career. He's like, you know what? Let's just cover what you were going to talk about. I said, are you kidding me? And he said, what? I said, you're doing what's called spiritual bypassing. Can't remember the name of the psychologist who coined the phrase. You can look it up. You can Google spiritual bypassing. I didn't come up with the phrase. Some other guy did. Give him credit for it. I don't remember his name. It'll probably pop to me as soon as I end the video. But you go Google this. Spiritual bypassing is something that people do that know too much personal growth and development. And that's all of you. I'm calling all of you out on that. It's me too. It's me too. It's all of my team members. I got team members on here. It's anyone who does personal growth. You run the risk of spiritual bypassing. Such a huge, huge issue. Spiritual bypassing is you using the techniques to circumvent having to work on your stuff. I get it. Shift happens, man. Things come up and you got baggage. And rather than going, I need to deal with my baggage, what you do is you go, I'm gonna practice gratitude. Rather than dealing with your baggage, you attempt to reframe it, which essentially just shoves it back down again. The psychologist that came up with the phrase began to notice that individuals that were working with him one-on-one in therapy sessions were using the basic principles of psychology and personal growth and development to circumvent dealing with their stuff. Spiritual bypassing works like this. When you do spiritual bypassing, what you're essentially doing is you're avoiding dealing with the issues that are at hand by using some concept or idea that is a part of a spiritual path or a personal growth and development path. One of my favorite current ones is gratitude. By the way, I love gratitude. Absolutely love gratitude. On the way to school today, my daughter and I, we were practicing gratitude. Any of you who practice gratitude, give me a thumbs up, put a heart on this or whatever it is that you do on Facebook Live. Gratitude is so important, to be thankful for the things that you have. I am so grateful for the ocean down there and the view that I have. Why? Because it grounds me. It helps me connect with nature. I'm so grateful that I get to teach Hoonah in a couple of weeks. A few of you are going to be there at Hoonah. I'm grateful for that because it fulfills my spiritual path. It's not what I do. It's not my living. It's my spiritual path that I get to do when I'm there at Hoonah. I'm truly grateful for those things. I'm also grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for a lot of things in life, and I will not use gratitude to overlook the fact that I have some baggage to deal with. Let's pretend for a moment something not so great happens in my life, which happens to all of us. It happens to everyone. No matter how far down the path you get, you're going to have the opportunity to deal with your stuff, to deal with baggage, to deal with obstacles that come up. And if the first reaction that you have is anger, or it's sadness, or it's fear, or it's guilt, or some sort of limiting belief, and if you sit there and go, I have nothing to complain about, I have green grass and a beautiful view of the ocean, I shouldn't even be talking about this, it's a first world problem, or any of those phrases that we use, you're avoiding dealing with your stuff. You really are. Yes, I know that there are people in other countries that are going through things that are absolutely horrible. I travel the world. I'm very well aware of the condition of things. I go to Italy every year, and some of the people that we've gotten so close with over there, they're from Albania, and some of them from Croatia. And when we talk with them about what it's like when they go back home, they talk about the conditions that are there. And you know what? Poverty is at an all-time low right now. If you look up the statistics online, we're doing so well. And yes, there are people that are starving, that are suffering, and that are not going through the things that we're going through. And what we're going through, and some of those people would beg to have our problems. There's still a problem, though. Maybe no one's told you this before, but listen to me very carefully. Your problem is still a problem. I said to the guy, I said, you are a top 10 Keller Williams agent. You have two beautiful kids, an amazing wife, a beautiful home. And that doesn't take away from the fact that the issue that you're dealing with is a problem. I said, I want you to think about this. You're potentially on the hook for $1 million+. Your father's getting dragged into a lawsuit, and you're sitting there telling me you should be practicing gratitude. I want to know how you really feel. And he said, I am angry. Dropped an F-bomb. And I'm like, thank you. This we can deal with. There's a technique for that. MER. There's Ho'oponopono. If after you've done release work, then you set an intention. Well, how do you want to be instead? Then you take action. Then you maintain your focus. I'm like, come on, man, let's work it the way we need to work it, which is deal with our baggage. The stuff that Skylar's going through in middle school. Middle school can be a tough age. Some people have said to her, oh, this is so easy, this is so simple. Just wait till you get into high school. No. Yeah, I know, in high school the problems are going to get possibly worse. Maybe not, maybe they will, but who cares? Let's deal with the issue at hand right now and avoid bypassing it. So, spiritual bypassing, again, an individual who utilizes the teachings in order to circumvent working on what they're dealing with and who they are. In the Hawaiian perspective, and this is more than just Hoonah, from a cultural perspective here, the word alo is to face, not your face, but alo is to face something. To alo, to face something means to confront it head on, in a way that's pono, in a way that is right, in a way that is from your heart. And it's so much better to face it than to continue burying it and continue putting it aside. Spiritual bypassing is dangerous because the more you do that, the more you build up baggage. I had someone ask me recently, is the volcano still erupting? And my daughter was in the car and she said, well, yeah, we want it to keep erupting because otherwise when it stops erupting, we get afraid because that possibly means an explosion's coming. When you spiritual bypass, what you're doing is you're burying the baggage sufficiently that, well, it creates a buildup. It creates a pressure. And we've all had that happen, all of us, including me, where all of a sudden you're like, I think I'm dealing with my stuff, but I'm really not. And then something just comes along and scratches the surface, just pokes at you just a little bit, and all the baggage comes up like a volcanic explosion. To allow something is to face it. So I want you all to avoid spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing builds up the baggage. To face something, a little bit at a time. Face something with someone you love, someone that you trust, someone that you have rapport with. Start off with someone that you know is going to react in a way that's gentle, calm, centered, and balanced. Before this Facebook Live, I was on a call with one of my students who's been with me for about 10 years now. Next year will be 10 years. An amazing woman, doctor, and I got on the phone with her, and she was on the verge of spiritual bypassing. And after we got done and I helped her do a little bit of release work, I said to her, what do you need to do now? And she said, I need to go talk to my friend. I need to go talk to my friend and I need to confront this, to alo, to face it. I said, is that the right place to start? Is that a good place to start? And she said, yeah. She'll be gentle, she'll be understanding. So much easier than starting with your parents or a boss. I said, good. This will build up trust. It will build up momentum, and it will build up the ability for you to do this in other areas. So with spiritual bypassing, first of all, here's what you can do. Here are some specific tips as we wrap up. Number one, really take a look. Is there any area of your life or any instance in your life, specific events, where instead of facing it, what you're doing is you are using things like gratitude, reframing, thankfulness in a way that is stopping you from actually dealing with the problem. Again, I practice gratitude. Practice it on the way to school with my daughter today. Practice it the other morning when I woke up. Gratitude, very important. I'm talking about gratitude instead of facing it. Make a list. Make a list of the things that you are avoiding and that you are doing spiritual bypassing with. And then what I want you to do is pick something on that list that will be easy for you to face. Something on the list that will be easy for you to face and to alo. And then what you want to do is role play it. Role play it in your mind. Aloha, Pauline, so good to see you. Role play it in your mind. In your mind, sit there and go, okay, how will this conversation go? What do I need to say? And what do I need to do? Now, if any baggage comes up, if any negative emotions come up for you, you have techniques for that. You can go on our app. You can go to empowermentsuccess.com. You got a 7-day free trial. There's apps, there's recordings on our app. You can search for Dr. Matt on the App Store, and it's also on Google, or Integrative NLP. There's a recording of Ho'oponopono. There's a recording of release work. And what you can do is you can listen to that if any baggage comes up and let that baggage go. Because when you face it, you want to face it in a calm, centered, and balanced way. So as you're thinking about the list, as you're role-playing this, if anything comes up for you, then what you can do is do some release technique to help you with that. Once the baggage is gone, role-play it again. And what you should be able to do is find yourself in a calm space as you go through the whole conversation, the whole action plan. And then imua. The Hawaiian word imua is step forward. Take a step on the path, do what it is that you need to do, and that will truly help you face the things and begin to avoid spiritual bypassing. All right. Hope this was helpful. It's a topic that I've been looking forward to doing a Facebook Live on. And as always, I want to thank you all for the time that you took to be here. For those of you that I'm going to see in about a week and a half at Hoonah, look forward to seeing you then. And if not, I'll see any of you in the future, okay? Take care. Aloha. Ahui ho.